All right, namaste, beautiful yogis. I see a couple people are already on. Um, Today we have a really cool video. We'll see how far we'll get in. I prepared a little bit for it. I have been wanting to do this video for the longest time. The benefits of interval yoga, and one of our yogis, sent me her diploma work, which included a lot of quite a bit of information. Really, her work is amazing on interval yoga, yoga in general, and in general weight loss through Eastern disciplines. Zdravej. For example, Ayurveda, pranayama, Kapalabhati breath, Uddiyana Bandha, and how you can utilize all those things in order to gain benefits from interval yoga, from Eastern practices. And I'm gonna get as far as I can today, and then we'll do a part 2 on what yoga is good for. Now, I want to explain to you what interval yoga is. I practiced. Let's get this out of the way. I started practicing yoga in the early 2000s, and after I moved to America, and I started practicing different disciplines: Vinyasa, Ashtanga, and just Hatha yoga, and fell in love with yoga from the get-go, from the very beginning. I was already going to the gym and starting to be an athletic person, I should say. I was athletic as a child, very athletic, gifted in athleticism, but I didn't go in a professional athletic direction. Anyways, started practicing yoga after I have already been athletic, and I felt that something is missing in the yoga the way it is. What was missing was the intense element, the strength building element, and also jumps, something that children incorporate into their life. That's something that's ingrained in us. So I've created a yoga practice that includes all of those elements into it. So we're taking traditional yoga, incorporating high intensity interval training, which is strength plus cardio. Now you have strength plus cardio plus interval yoga. All these three merged together. There is plyometrics. I include some weights, so strength training into the discipline. So we're getting a really well-rounded discipline with the meditative aspects included in it. So we are getting cardio benefits, high intensity interval training benefits, which is generally you get the benefits of cardio training in the form of a very condensed time-wise training. So you can train for basically 30 minutes and get the benefits of 150-minute cardio training. So you don't have to run for hours and hours to gain the same benefits. Also, HIIT tends to raise your metabolism for the time when you're exercising. Also, the following many hours after that, 12 hours after that, you have increased metabolism. So those are the benefits you gain from interval yoga: strength building, gaining lean mass, losing body fat, because we are not just using cardio and not just using general exercising, but we are also using ancient techniques such as breath techniques, bandhas, also known as locks, and also we're using certain postures that stimulate particular organs in the body or the endocrine system. So they're stimulating your thyroid, yoga is proven to be reducing your cortisol levels, also reducing fatigue in people that practice yoga. So we're including all of this. It can also benefit your adrenals. It can benefit your immune system. So we're including all of those benefits. Interval yoga is including all of those benefits, and the bonus part is that we tend to do all of this in a very short amount of time. 20 to 30 minutes a day is enough, and you can skip 2 days a week. I do recommend doing something 5 to 6 days a week, even if some of those days are 10 minutes. I personally do a lot of 10-minute things whenever I don't have time. So it's very, very doable. It's something that you can maintain for the rest of your life, and it's literally, it gives you absolutely the maximum benefits you can get from training. So you don't need to devote 1 hour at the gym and 30 minutes to the gym and back and getting ready for the gym. You can at home, basically in your underwear, wake up and run to the mat, do something from anywhere from 10 minutes to, or even 8 minutes. I have 8-minute classes, all the way up to 30, 40, 50 if you're having a strong day or a day when you have time, and you get the benefits of the maximum benefits you can gain. You're not just compromising, you're getting the maximum benefits in that amount of time. Just HIIT or high intensity interval training is not enough for me, because it doesn't include the slow isometric holds, or it doesn't include the movement that yoga incorporates, the lean body, long muscle forming moves that yoga incorporates, and also the mind that and the breath techniques that yoga incorporates. So just HIIT training, not enough. Strength training at the gym, absolutely not enough, not even close to okay, because I've been asked that, what is, how yoga can be better than strength training at the gym. If you're using machines, you're just kind of shaping a body that is not functionally strong. And if you're using free weights, that's great, but you still need to incorporate yoga and cardio elements into your strength training, which what interval yoga is. So we have strength training, cardio, high intensity interval training, stretching, hatha, vinyasa, all in one. All of this is incorporated in interval yoga. Now, the paper, I'm going to read some excerpts of a diploma work or a graduation work of one of my students, or one of a yoga student who did her work in Russian. So I'm using Google Translate, so some parts of what I'm gonna read maybe are gonna be a little bit kind of rusty, or kind of they will sound, but you will get everything she's saying, because when I put it in Google Translate, it was pretty good. The benefits of interval yoga would be saving time, because you can get a lot of benefit in a very short amount of time. It has benefits of reducing stress, anxiety, depression, because that's what working out does, that's what yoga does, and that's what HIIT training does. So we get it in a condensed form. Hormone balancing, because yoga can balance your hormones and training can balance your hormones. Now, what I love about my yoga is I incorporate particular moves that can increase your human growth hormone. What is human growth hormone? After puberty, your human growth hormone starts to decline. By the time you're 40, your human growth hormone is a third of what it used to be when you were young. Human growth hormone keeps your skin tight, your muscles strong. And you know how young people have strong muscles even if they haven't even ever seen the gym. And it keeps your fat deposits lower. Now when it starts to decline, we have to put a little more effort in keeping the body fat lower and the muscle mass higher, and that naturally happens when we are young. Also, we have to put a bunch of serums on our faces in order for our faces not to fall off. I'm kidding, but yeah, we have to make an effort to look a little to look good, which happens naturally when we're young. Now, what I also incorporate into interval yoga that you will not find in any other yoga is lymphatic drainage. So we are incorporating jumps that will drain your the fluid that accumulates into your lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is a system kind of like your circulatory system, only it doesn't have a pump. The circulatory system, the heart, the cardiovascular system has the heart as the pump. The lymphatic system does not have a pump. So we have to help the lymphatic system drain in order to be healthy. If your lymphatic system is not functioning optimally, then that will deteriorate over time your heart and your kidneys. first the kidneys, and the kidneys deteriorate the heart, and that leads to heart disease. Lymphatic drainage is extremely important, and it should happen on a daily basis. When we do yoga, interval yoga, we help the lymphatic system drain. In return, we have better detox. Detoxification happens in the system. We tend to improve our longevity, because when you have well-functioning lymphatic system, that leads to healthier kidneys. Kidneys are the vitality organ in the body in Chinese medicine, and we regulate the hormonal system with yoga, and we improve the lymphatic drainage with interval yoga. I mentioned that I like to incorporate certain moves, such as particular squat jumps, in my classes, which tends to boost what? Human growth hormone. It's abbreviated. You can see it often HGH, human growth hormone. So it tends to boost your human growth hormone, which very few things do. Also, yoga and interval training are known to improve your longevity, because they have a positive effect on the telomeres, which is the one now. There is so much scientific buzz about the telomeres, because that's the only proven way to increase your lifespan. All right, what else? Increased energy. Interval yoga can lead, or basically when you improve your human growth hormone, you can have it has a rejuvenating effect on you. It's not just fat loss and energy, but it has cardiovascular benefits, so better heart, lower cholesterol, better ratio good to bad cholesterol. It improves the health of the spleen, kidneys, so internal organs, the detox. It improves your cholesterol, I mentioned that, immune function, it strengthens your bones, and that leads to younger skin and stronger bones and stronger joints. That leads to another point I want to make about stronger bones and joints. Impact training, high impact or low impact, but medium impact, leads to stronger joints. It has to be done properly with proper alignment, and that's what I incorporate into my classes. I actually went through hell with my joints during I have a healing story on my channel. You can go to my channel and Google my healing story, but I went through so much trouble healing my joints. They were a mess, and that's how I developed interval yoga, as a system that will detox your body, heal your body, build your body, and build your joints strong. And I can guarantee you, I can promise you from not just my personal experience, but a lot of other people have used it that way, it builds strong knees and strong wrists and strong joints done properly. So if you're new to interval yoga, I will advise you to get my beginner program first, and to do my beginner classes first before you move on with the intense part of it. But you will get stronger over time. You will not believe how much strength you will gain in just 20 to, let's say, 10 to 40 minutes a day, and 10 is perfectly okay. I'm sweating because it is 100 degrees here in Los Angeles, and it's that's over 40 degrees. It's over 100 and over 40 Celsius, so it's ridiculously hot here. I know it's October 25th, and we have record-breaking temperatures. So I'm speaking really fast. Let me know. Type in the little chat box. Am I talking too fast? Do you want me to slow down, or this is okay? The speed is okay, because I want to cover a lot of stuff, and we have super cool things to cover, super interesting aspects of yoga to cover. So stick around, super cool stuff. So heat is proven. There are studies that have been done on heat, high intensity interval training, that it can improve your longevity, because it activates enzymes called telomerase, which keeps telomeres long, so the ending of the telomeres. I like the live stuff too, so we'll be doing live classes. So heat training can also boost your human growth hormone and IGF-1, and it can lead to fat loss, 700% fat loss compared to not training. So we're talking like amazing benefits of every training that you pick up in your life will increase, it will lead to benefits. But if you combine it, the way I've combined it in one, the benefits are amazing, and also you get to do it in a really, really short amount of time. And also, very few things incorporate yoga in a good, fluid, groovy way. The way I incorporate it in interval training. So if you're a gym rat or someone that likes strength training, you need that aspect of it. You need it. You need to keep your fluidity. You need, because just strength can lead to stiffness. You need to keep the fluidity and the flexibility of the body, and the fluid, because that leads to fluidity of the mind, flexibility of the mind, emotional. I don't want to say intelligence because that was a coined term for something specific, but I do mean that knowing yourself, quieting the mind so you can learn more about who you are and your emotions, and tap into that, and tap into your intuition. Now, yoga can increase, and interval training both can increase your creativity. So that's another benefit. Whenever you feel like you're just in a rut and not sure why you should be doing yoga or why you should be doing my classes, tap into this video and it will give you stimulation, because it's not just for your looks, and it's not just for your health, and it's not just for your heart health, but it's for your mind, it's for your peace, it's for your getting to know yourself better, getting to understand yourself better. If you're wondering what this is, it's diapers. And I should just kind of remove them from the screen. Yeah, interval training can increase your fat. I have points to cover here, and there is more stuff that we're gonna cover, so stay with me. Interval training can increase your lymphatic flow by 300 to 600%. So that's massive increase. It can increase your metabolic fat burning rate. It can boost your moods. It can help with anxiety. It can improve your memory, bone density. As I said, impact training will improve the strength of your joints, but it has to be done properly, and you have to develop the proper flexibility for it. So that's where yoga combined with interval training comes. The way I do my classes is I build heat from the inside out. For everybody that has asked me about hot yoga, no, build your heat from inside out. Don't sit around and blast your body with heat. Build the heat from inside out. You will build a lot of heat just from proper movement and proper breath, and that's way more powerful and more healing. Heat from outside can actually increase your injuries. If you're about to do nothing or hot yoga, probably hot yoga is better. But if you are to choose what is the most advantageous thing for your body to do, I would say do yoga or training that builds heat from the inside out, such as interval yoga. Today we're covering interval yoga. Of course, I do have classes that are not interval yoga. I have classes that are power yoga. I have classes that are vinyasa, and hatha. So it's not the only thing I teach, but if you want to get really powerful punch, go for my interval yoga classes. You will get very strong in a very short amount of time. I'll get to your questions in a second. I see questions rolling, but I'm trying to get somewhere with this. This is going to be a few part video, because I have a lot to cover about how to incorporate different practices such as Ayurveda, such as breath and so forth, in order to improve your health and weight loss. The diploma work is on weight loss. And I know that yesterday we were talking about beauty, and today you say, oh, this is so controversial, because why would you be talking about weight loss when yesterday we were talking about how to not care about looks? No, I feel like I get misunderstood. We all care about our health, and our beauty reflects the state of our health, and I think that's where the obsession with beauty comes. We kind of know that our face reflects our soul, and our health. So we want to work on that. Where we can get lost is the obsession or the unhealthy attachment to perfection or unrealistic expectations. My point is to accept who we are and upkeep it, right? Just love who you are, but don't think it doesn't matter at all how well you take care of yourself. We are in a physical body in order to gain physical lessons. We're here to gain lessons in this earth. If we were to gain only spiritual lessons in life, we would never incarnate in a physical body. The reason why we are in a physical body is because there is lessons to be learned about attachment and the physicality of earthly life. Exercise and active rest. So what HIIT is, I didn't mention that. High intensity interval training is basically a combination of high strenuous exercise that is cardiovascular, followed by intervals of rest. So we have intervals of work and intervals of active rest. And that is incorporated into my yoga classes in a very particular way. So it is a very efficient, high intensity interval training is a very efficient way of working out because you gain cardio and strength benefits in one and also in a condensed amount of time. It's more than 3, 4, 5 times less time that it requires. Sometimes you can run for 10 minutes in intervals and gain 50 minutes of benefits, of actual benefits. It also has effects on your cortisol levels, fatigue, depression, and so forth. All right, so we'll move on to parts of the diploma work because she has written about interval yoga in particular, and she has written about a lot of other things. And we'll start with if you're tuning in now, I'm using Google Translator for Russian diploma work. So if it sounds a little bit weird here and there, you get what I mean, because it's pretty good. It's actually really good, the translation. I didn't miss anything while I was reading it, so give me 1 second to pull it up, because I've pulled up quite a few aspects or chapters of her work, how asanas work on the body, how HIIT works on the body, how pranayama works on the body, how Ayurveda, when to eat, depending on your type, Ayurvedic type, how Uddiyana Bandha works on the body. All of that I'll try to cover in different in different ways. She starts with the diploma. It's about yoga and weight loss. She started with explaining that and why do we need to even lose weight? Why do we need to keep a certain amount of weight? Especially now in the media, they say accept your weight at any way, just radical beauty acceptance and stuff. Because I think when you truly accept yourself, you don't abuse yourself. It's such a touchy subject, but first we have to become honest with ourselves. And even that's true for me. Whenever I'm unhappy, I tend to eat less healthy or mindlessly. So that's the main thing we learn, is that when we become more and more balanced, the body balances itself out, and that's why we use yoga, because it allows us to be more connected with our own selves. So 90 to 95% of cases of obesity are due to poor diet. Basically, there is energy intake that's higher than energy output. Whenever there is obesity, 40% of the total weight of the human body, in addition to improper diet, obesity contributes to reduced muscle activity, of course. Hypokinesia. Muscle mass is 40% of the total weight of the human body, and its activity or inactivity affects the condition and function of all major systems in the body. Obesity refers, this is interesting, to nutritional disease from the Latin word alimentum, food. These diseases are associated with an eating disorder of the body and lack of exercise or lack of dietary energy or Disorders power can also be caused by diseases of the body, causing disorders, digestion, increased flow of nutrients in the and deterioration of the absorption of cells in the tissue. Obesity can develop due to disorders of fat metabolism in connection with disease of the endocrine or central nervous system. Obesity may have a genetic character in a small percentage of people, and and she continues going on and on about how it can affect the body and how we need healthy metabolism in order to have a good lymphatic flow and a good lymphatic system. And if we have too much tissue in the body, then that burdens the organs. Then there is subcutaneous fat, and so forth and so forth, meaning the need to have low body weight is an actual need. It's not just a vanity thing. Although I feel that I personally in my life have become less. I was never too vain, but I feel that you become less vain when your body is in balance. When you feel in balance, you don't focus on things that are wrong with you. So working on yourself leads to less thinking about yourself. Does that make sense? It's a little goes against the grain, but the more you take care of yourself, the less you care about how you look. If that makes sense. Or the more you take care of yourself, the less afflictions you have, so the less you feel your body, the less you're burdened by it, the less you think about it, because that frees your energy up for other things in life, creativity. And if you feel healthy, you see yourself as beautiful or as healthy, so you just accept where you're at. You don't strive for something, for an unhealthy beauty image, but you just see yourself, you meet yourself at exactly where you're at, and you see that as beauty, because you have your own standard of beauty. Which sometimes it can be completely different from what the social media tells you it has to be. It might be completely the opposite. It might be completely quirky features, and it just, going back to that beauty discussion we had yesterday, I have noticed, and tell me if that's true for you, that when people are very, very exceptionally beautiful by the beauty standards in youth, in their 20s or teenage years, but they are dull people within, that starts to show after 30. If a person is dull spirit-wise, it starts to show, and after 30, people start to shine with something else, not with the physical. And that's why often we see people that by the book they're not beautiful, but everybody sees them as beautiful, because it's not the features, but it's the soul that shines through, and it's the quirkiness, the uniqueness, the spirit that we start to see. So going to give me 1 second so that I can pull up exactly the interval yoga part of the diploma work. And tomorrow we may go to the Ayurveda part, and then pranayama and all the other goodies. And how asana in itself affects your body. So high intensity interval training, that is a method that was developed, it's a Tabata protocol. It was developed by a Japanese team of a doctor and his team of researchers in Tokyo in '96, and they found that such training gives much better results compared to just traditional training or traditional cardio. And it was established as, it was called originally Tabata. It is in fact a high intensity interval training, and I generally work with variations of high intensity interval training. Not always do I go for the straightforward. Sophie was going to knock out my phone. Not always. I go with the straightforward because I like different variations of it. Sometimes 50 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. Sometimes equal amount of work to rest. I vary it, and that gives really good results in the body. To date, this method is the most effective for increasing functional parameters of the body, such as strength, strengthening the muscular frame, improving blood circulation, reducing body fat layers, increasing the performance and endurance, aerobic and anaerobic improvement indicators. This is in studies done. It's showed amazing results in all these parameters. This training program used by athletes of almost all kinds of sports. It's used to improve their performance in any other sport. It leads to rapid burning of fat and increasing in stamina and building of muscle. Practicing high-intensity interval training improves performing complex power performing complex power exercises in static and dynamic mode. They are aimed to work all major muscle groups. So we're using full body exercises. We're increasing functional strength. That's the difference between traditional strength training and body weight strength training, because you gain functional strength as opposed to traditional strength training, where you can gain certain muscular strength, but functionally your body is not strengthening. Practicing HIIT involves performing complex, we said that, they aim to work all major muscle groups. And then here it is explained how it is performed, rest and all of that. Yes, that last comment is, did you say, yeah, I will go back to the comments in a second. So yeah, when performing this kind of exercise, yoga asanas are performed in a static. Hold on one second, I missed the part where I mentioned so each exercise is performed for 8 cycles, 20 seconds work, 10 seconds of rest. That's your traditional Tabata. I do variations of it, but oftentimes we do the traditional Tabata. Total round is 4 minutes for one round, and usually 3 rounds are performed for altogether a 12-minute workout. This technique has been integrated in and adapted in a version of yoga practice. The American fitness instructor in yoga, Ali has named interval yoga. So I'm translating from Russian, that's why it's a little the sentence was a little messed up, but basically I have incorporated it, she says, I have developed a technique incorporating Tabata into a particular yoga style. As a consequence of its high effectiveness and relevance, this yoga has become increasingly popular, and many instructors are beginning to include it in their training sequence. And yes, I was the creator. When performing this kind, and people are asking, am I going to start certifying people? Yes, I'm very close to starting a program for yoga certification for yoga teachers. Interval yoga, so stay tuned, because there is going to be online. I'll start online and we'll move into in person in the further future. Answer the question, don't be shy. Oh, okay. When performing this kind of exercise, yoga asanas are performed in static dynamic breathing, ujjayi, and compensatory asanas. Yes, we're doing regular breathing that is done in traditional fitness and interval and cardio training, and we're also incorporating ujjayi breath, which is very, it can stimulate all major body systems in the body, plus it has a fat burning effect, it has internal organ toning effect. Are one of the features of the adapted method. They are necessary for redistribution of loads from the muscle group to the opposite. So we're redistributing the load from one muscle group to the opposite muscle group when we're performing the exercises. This training includes a great number of body systems at the same time. It speeds up the heart rate, and it increases oxygen consumption. It takes a lot of energy, so its duration and frequency are limited. Yes, if you can do my classes for longer than I'm doing them, then you're probably not like really doing it right, let's say that. This mode is about 20-30 minutes from the total sequence and can be made as a separate short sequence. Due to the high loads, due to the high loads. You get what she means. High loads is high loading the muscles, or loading the the muscles. These workouts needs to be done 3 to 4 times a week max. Interval yoga helps to improve physical fitness. It helps to develop endurance, to strengthen your cardiovascular system, and to lose weight. This direction establishes itself as a fast and effective way of bringing the whole body in tone. Yes, because just training will give you just that, just weight, strength training benefits. But when you include yoga, because yoga is a discipline of self-knowing, then you're gaining a completely different, it's such a holistic system that you can't break it down into. I feel that the way I have turned some classes as a whole, they just align your body. And as a teacher, my first strength, my natural strength when I first started teaching, or when I first discovered yoga, I realized that I have a thing for sequencing. When you sequence things properly, they work on your nervous system in a different way. That's why when you're working on like huffing and puffing exercises and breathing, but sequencing things in a particular order, you get a particular nervous system benefit that you wouldn't get otherwise. I think you know what I'm talking about. You have done certain classes in which your nervous system has aligned in a particular way. HIIT is a method in which a muscle works during a given period ratio work and leisure. Usually HIIT are also circular workouts. The number of muscle groups worked sequentially, and the entire sequence is repeated several times, restricting muscles in time for one approach. Too long intense work excessively depletes and destroys the muscles. Yes, you don't need to do too long. It just needs to be done in just short and sweet. So that there is no depletion, and if you deplete your muscles, that leads to reduced benefits and reduced muscle gain and reduced health benefits. So don't overwork workout, don't over exercise. I have many videos on that and you can watch them, but overworking out is absolutely the opposite. It doesn't build you, it breaks you down. So, therefore, the muscular work should be limited to optimum intervals and to optimal yoga class length. That's why my classes tend to be pretty short, because that gives you optimal results. So, not only they're short and save you time, but it gives you optimal benefits. Many approaches on the muscle for exercise incentive for the development of muscle is called a shift in the status of its internal environment, homeostasis, mostly by muscle acidification. Positive ions change homeostasis caused an increase of corresponding RNA and DNA. There is a significant nuance. About 5 minutes after loading, the homeostasis in the muscles begin to level off. In the case of interval and circuit training, at the many repetitions of the total time of the muscle is able to alter from higher homeostasis. Homeostasis is higher for longer then. Let's move forward. So there is, in interval yoga, there is a very fast transition from one muscle to another. We're moving from one movement to another very quickly, and we're loading one muscle and then the other very quickly. She has done an amazing work with this diploma work, so that's why I'm gonna do it in a few studies, because there is a few really cool things about Ayurveda and asana and breath and pranayama and yoga nidra. Here she's explaining how the glucose is the glucose in the stored in the cells is used to change the hormonal background of the body, and how interval training can affect a person in a more cheerful, can put you in a neurologically more stable state. So basically, it helps you adapt better to the stresses in life. It in turn makes you happier and a little more cheerful, and with more stable moods, and improved outlook on life. I will finish with that, because some of the parts here were very scientific, and the Google Translator wasn't doing the best job in translating how it works on your neurotransmitters, on your hormonal system, and how the resting between states affects your body and so forth. So let's look at the questions and I will wrap it up. I'll come back either tomorrow or next live session to talk about pranayama and the benefits of pranayama, asana, benefits of asana, because should we talk about asana today? Do you guys, it's been 40 minutes, so maybe let's do asana tomorrow. It's just asana has a very, very good way of affecting the body, talking yoga poses, especially some of the poses that affect the internal organs, but we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Let's look at the comments and wrap it up. Yes, Sarah, there will be online certification. I'm working on it now, starting to come up with the details about how to do it, but it will be done at first online. After your pregnancy, Audrey, you are actually more connected to your body. To me, that makes perfect sense. I know a lot of people say the opposite, but I feel such connection and love for my body that I've never even known existed before, right? It's something profound. It's just the connection to the body changes because pregnancy and childbirth really strengthen your intuition. You feel so connected because your body just performs such an incredible. Basically, you tapped into all your intuitive powers in order to be able to get through all of that. Let's see. I feel the same. I don't feel stronger physically because I haven't felt the desire to work out as hard, but I feel stronger in some other ways. The body feels stronger, and also I'm giving it time to get physically and muscularly as strong as it was, but just edit whenever it wants to or whenever it feels beneficial. I never tried hot yoga. I always like classes that build the heat like your classes from within. Yes, that's really building heat from within is very, very detoxifying, strengthening to all your systems, and it's good for your mind. It's very beneficial. Getting heat from outside can lead to injuries. On top of just, it's a lazier approach. I don't find it to be beneficial. But as I said, if you're about to do nothing or hot yoga, obviously hot yoga is better. But if you want to do the best, most optimal thing for you, then do. I would say do interval yoga, but you can do vinyasa, power yoga, etc. And just heat classes are also good. I have so many interval yoga I have so many interval training classes. They're good to alternate. You can do two times a week interval training, one time interval yoga, one time vinyasa yoga, and something twice where you put 40% of your maximum output. Let's see if there was, I don't want to miss any question. Okay, so you said that you are more aware of your body. That's how I read it, weird. If you had said I didn't. Yeah, you said I'm not aware of my body, but I didn't see the note. See, we're getting each other. Somehow I even missed the note. I really love the info. As I'm a high school student and don't have that much time, I do the coffee cup classes. Yes, that's what it's designed for. Like, I don't know how I got through college and high school without yoga. It just really refreshes my mind, especially if I'm in a bad mood or just kind of like a gray mood, or if I feel a little stiff. Just one class and everything opens, and it becomes from an day to an optimistic day. Yes, the coffee cup class are interval yoga. Even if they don't have interval yoga timer in them, they're interval yoga because we load the body in cycles, meaning we go for side planks and then we hold a plank, which is kind of a rest, or we hold a down dog in a rest. I love your classes. and no info you share with us. Your classes are always challenging but within reach, and I get the most physical and the most physical and emotional, I guess, benefit from your workouts. Thank you from Texas. Thank you, Massey Design. How many times a week should we do interval yoga for weight loss? I'm 6 months postpartum. So I'm gonna do this series on weight loss because that's the diploma work that I was sent. The girl that wrote it sent it to me. It's super interesting. Maybe I should post the whole diploma work somewhere on my website as a paper. How many times? As I just answered it, but do two times a week some of my shorter interval training classes. Do 1 to 2 times a week an interval yoga, and the other times do some other yoga more mild. Now I want you to give your maximum effort only twice a week. Yeah, only twice a week. I want you to do a strong class only twice a week. The other times, just put as much effort. Just either take more rest or just don't go all out, like speed wise. For example, if we're doing surfer jumps, don't do 30 in a minimum amount of time. That's for weight loss, because when you overtrain, you actually tend to gain weight from the stress in your body because your cortisol levels raise. So you don't want to overtrain. Overtraining doesn't lead to weight loss. It leads to weight gain. And for some people that are able to limit their food intake so much that they do maintain a low weight, it just stresses their system and leads to depletion in the body. So you don't need a lot. You need 3 times a week, 10 minutes, and the other times 20, 30, 40 minutes. Is interval yoga a mix of hatha vinyasa? It's mostly power vinyasa with some hatha elements and interval training. So we have plyometrics, we have cardio elements, strength elements, groovy dance elements, plus some weighted exercises, and we use some props. So it's quite a bit of a combination of things. All right, and we have Princess Mimi. Thank you for working out with me or doing yoga with me every day. All right, I hope this was very informative to you, and I hope you like the Google translation on the diploma work. I will come back tomorrow. I have them pull up, but we'll do them tomorrow about how Uddiyana Bandha works in the body, and basically it's kind of the scientific view of it and how it helps to stimulate the kidneys, removing fluid from the body. Uddiyana Bandha can strengthen and improve the health of your kidneys, and how it works on soothing the nervous system and so forth. So we'll talk about such things. They're interesting things, very informative. A lot of people are curious about those things because it's nice to know that what you're doing has such profound benefits on your body and on your mind. And I might be shooting in a little bit the next apps class, so join in for that. And thanks for joining. Love you all. Namaste.